Hey guys, what's up? Dingocrikey here with another figure review. This time we're going to be looking at Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Strafe. This figure was originally released in May of 2014 as one of the 3 Wave 2 Deluxe Class figures and could be purchased for the price of $14.99. And this review was suggested by user Grant Monier / Ruby Tarn Prime. So first we have him in his alternate mode, which is obviously a 2-headed pterodactyl. I'll give you guys a look from the front, the side, other side, the back, the bottom, and there's the top. I think the main color that stands out on this guy is obviously blue, but we do have a good amount of silver in here, some black all throughout. And I believe those are our 3 main colors in this mode, other than this light sort of aqua blue we have on the eyes. So not too many colors on this guy, but that's not to say he's visually dull, as we do have this interesting detailing on the wings. We have the stripes here, and then we have the fade into silver. Also 2 Autobot symbols, which is definitely kind of cool. Also on the wings, we have these spikes lining the edges. There's a look at them from the other side, not as impressive on the bottom, but they do look pretty cool on the top. It's kind of something they keep throughout the whole figure, as you can see on these parts that become his robot arms. We also have some spikes, and the tails kind of have that look too. Speaking of the tails, you can also see we have this color fade, not too gradual, cuts into silver pretty quick. Also has some claws for feet back here. Some claws on the front. These ones are, colored silver. And I'll give you guys a look at the heads. Well, one of them, since both of them are the same. And something I do want to point out, you can see they did paint this whole area around the eyes this light blue color, but he does actually have a singular circle for an eye in there. Personally, I'd be curious to see what it would look like if it was only the circle to be painted light blue, but I don't think it necessarily looks bad. Being that this guy is a beast, we do have some articulation for this alternate mode. And we'll look at the heads first. Right here at the base of the neck, you can move the heads back and forth all the way up like that. And that's about as far as it goes down. So not a ton of motion there. On the neck, we can rotate the heads all the way around right here. We do have a little bit of articulation there. It's kind of weird, more for the transformation. And the actual heads can open the mouths, and pretty wide too. The heads can also look down at about a 90-degree angle. As for the wings, they can go forward a little bit and back pretty far, but if you start moving it too far back, it can look a little bit odd. You also have this up and down motion. They can move all the way down just like that. It will cause the heads to move, as you just seen though. But we have a flapping motion there, and then the tips of the wings can go in about that far and can come out like that. Now the tails are rubber, so obviously you can move them at about any place, but you can't really pose them. When this came out of the package though, the tails were both like this. I basically, like wrapped it around his leg when I displayed the figure in a certain way, and got the tail to stick out this way by just keeping it there long enough. So you can kind of do that if you don't like the position it's packaged in. And at the base of the tail, we do have this hinge. And, we get some motion there, bring it about that far back. And probably going to look best if you just keep it there, though. As far as the legs go, at the upper legs, you can go forward, backward, feet articulation as well. You can leave him like this when he's flying, but then if you want him to be perched, you can fold him down like that. And, yeah, the leg articulation does come in handy, and despite the massive wings, he will actually stand on his own. As for accessories, we have 3, first of which is this crossbow, and this works better in robot mode. However, you can attach it through this little hole here, take the peg, plug it into place, and he will be armed with the bow. The other weapons are these swords. You take the hole down here, and you plug the spike into place. Do the same for the other one. And he can use them as weapons like this, but if you want them to just be storage, you can also rotate them down like this. Some personal thoughts on this mode. I think it's a cool concept, and it's executed fairly well. It looks really good from certain angles, such as this one. Let's say you take it from this angle, you can see some of the problems. For one, we have the robot head being very visible here. The robot arms are also pretty visible, but I'll give you a look at it so you can make up your own minds about that. Here we have Strafe with all of the other Age of Extinction Dinobots, Voyager class Slog and Grimlock, and Deluxe class Scorn, Snarl, Slug, and Slash. And here we have him with Combiner Wars Voyager class Silverbolt and Deluxe class Air Raid. And here we have him compared with Thrilling 30 Waspinator and Universe 2003 Silverbolt. So let's get to the transformation, and we're going to start by removing the accessories. So first thing that we're going to want to do is take this part that forms his lower leg and pull it out of place. Do that on both of them, and then flip it downward like so, and plug it into place. And then you want to rotate the legs right here, 180 degree. We move on to the arms and the wings. First, you want to unpeg the arms from the wings, and they can be a little bit tight, so don't be afraid to use some force. There you go. Straighten the arms out and put them at his side for right now. And we can also fold up the edges of these wings. And we'll just put them like that. There's a few different things you can do with the wings in this mode. As for the body, first you want to pull these pterodactyl heads to the side, and now the head can come up. Then you just want to take these, rotate them downward onto his chest. They're not going to really lock into place or anything. For right now, we'll just leave them like that. And there we have Deluxe class Strafe in robot mode. And let's bring the figure in for a closer look. First, to give you guys a body scroll. There you have the feet, body, and to give you a close-up look at the head sculpt too. We have a look at the front, the side, other side, the back, the bottom, and the top. As far as the colors go, they're pretty much the same. I don't think there's too many significant differences to speak of. Blue, black, silver, maybe a little bit of a distribution, but honestly not a whole lot. We just have a little bit more light blue because we have it on these eyes still, and then on his robot eye as well. As far as significant details, we do have his lower legs, which I guess this was supposed to be like a knight's shoes. Have this toe that points upward. Personally, I never liked it because it kind of looked like a jester's shoes in my opinion, but thematically it's kind of a cool thing to give to all of the Dinobots, as even the ones who didn't appear in the film, I believe, have it. And I would argue that the head also kind of has the look of a medieval helmet. We also do have the fact that those spikes will become swords, so, you know, there's definitely a medieval theme going on with this guy, as with most of the Dinobot figures. Figure I'll move away these dino heads and give you guys a look at the body. Some interesting detailing in there. Now I do have this little blue speck on my figure. I'm not sure if this is a flaw, a variant type of thing, but I did notice other figures in the box have a speck of blue on both sides, so not really sure what's going on there. As far as other details, there's nothing really significant that wasn't covered in the alternate mode, since both modes are pretty similar. So let's get into articulation. And we'll start with the upper legs. Basically, we have the same thing as we did in Beast mode. It is on a ball joint, and you kind of got a swivel joint in there too, so you can get a pretty good range of motion. We also have a swivel right here. The knees can make a 90-degree angle. As far as the arms go, we do have this construction whereby the wings can move freely from the arms, so they can move up like that on that joint. Nevertheless, the wing will get in the way of articulation. As you can see, the arm should be able to go all of the way around, but it is prohibited by this wing. Even when you want to bring his arms out, this little peg there can make it difficult. Right above the elbow, we do have a swivel. Then we do have elbow articulation here. It's a bit of an awkward angle, like he's lifting weights or something like that. Since his wrist is also pretty much stuck in this position, he does have sort of a weird wrist swivel, if you want to call it that. It's definitely some hand articulation. So the head is on a ball joint, so you do have your up and down motion there, and this piece that the platform the head is on can get in the way a little bit. And then the head should be able to go all the way around, but it is prohibited by some of these pieces here. That sums it up for the primary articulation. One of the main positions I see a lot of people put them in is where they actually fold the wings back, like this. And give you guys a look from the back. So I guess it's kind of cool looking. Personally, I prefer to have them outward. Gives them a little bit more of a menacing appearance, but I think that's kind of a preference thing. And I should mention that either way you situate the wings, I think you're going to have about the same problems with articulation. And before I close on articulation, I should mention, as you could probably tell, there are just a lot of problems with articulation for this guy. He doesn't necessarily have a bad range, probably average, but as you can see from the wings, the tails, just the way he's constructed, it can be kind of awkward. We do also have the articulation being kind of at this weird angle, as I think you can best see here. Also, kind of the way the hands are positioned. From there, going to kibble, I mean, we obviously have the wings. Some may consider that to be kibble. It does get in the way of articulation, as has been mentioned, but it does definitely add to the aesthetic. We do, however, have these dino heads, which some people may argue also add to the aesthetic, but I think the key problem here is that they don't really lock into place. And despite some of the weird articulation, the joints on this guy, at least my version of the figure, are really tight. I mean, you shake the guy around and the wing's going to kind of flop, but nothing else on the body's flopping, so that's definitely pretty nice. As for the accessories, we obviously still have the crossbow, and what you do is just take this peg here and plug it into his hand. And it's going to be at a little bit of a weird angle because of the way the hand is positioned, but it still can be pretty functional. You can have him stick it out like that. So holding it with both hands because he does have some pretty nice range with the arms, and he kind of looks like Daryl Dixon. He's got the crossbow, he's got the wings, kind of buff looking. What you can also do with this crossbow is take it out of his hand and plug it into the same place where it was in alternate mode, and there you have it in storage. And now that his hands are free, we can take the spike accessories, and he can use these sort of like swords. And we still do have the angle of his hand problem. Personally, I think it looks kind of cool for these swords. Then what we can also do with the swords is put them into storage as well. Just plugging them onto the wings here. Now they're stored just like they were in alternate mode. And there's one last function for both accessories. What we're going to want to do here is first attach everything. And in this last function, we combined all of the accessories, take the crossbow, and you have these little holes in the pegs here on the spikes. You want to take these little pegs on the crossbow, push them into place like that. Same with the other one. And I guess he kind of has, well, what would you call this, like a bayoneted crossbow now? Looks really cool in my opinion. Maybe a bit heavy, but definitely a cool idea. Here we have a size comparison showing Strafe with all of the other Dinobots. Here we have him with Combiner Wars Voyager class Silverbolt and Deluxe class Sunstreaker. And here we have a comparison of him with Classics Voyager class Optimus Prime, Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe class Breakaway, and Thrilling 30 Voyager class Springer. So final thoughts, my personal opinions, other than Stinger and the Takara version of the line, this was my most anticipated figure. And while upon owning him he isn't my favorite, I wasn't all too disappointed with the figure. His whole design is really nice looking, even some of the odd angular aspects of the articulation do give him a cool look. Obviously the wings, the spikes on the edges, the fading colors, all of it looks really nice. The color scheme is pretty simplistic. He doesn't have a ton of colors, not too heavy on the paint apps, but for me it works really well. He does have cons, of course. The fact that both modes I feel like kind of suffer from the other. The Beast mode obviously has some robo bits left over that you could probably just see in the angles and that kind of stuff. I think the robot mode kind of suffers too, though maybe a little bit less. Also, the fact that both modes are pretty similar looking can make the figure get a little boring when you're playing with him, all of that. Now, as far as recommendations, reactions, I wouldn't recommend this to just anyone. If at heart you're someone who basically you want it to sit on your shelf and look cool looking, and you like the looks of it from this review and from images, then I don't think you'd be disappointed with this figure. Looks really cool. And what you see is basically what you get. If you're a casual collector looking to buy a few Age of Extinction Dinobots, this is one of the better ones in my opinion. If you're only into very high quality figures, which is subjective to some extent of course, but basically meaning feel very durable, loaded with tons of realistic articulation, very complete looking in robot mode, then this is not a figure I'd recommend for you. Say you're mainly into third-party stuff and masterpiece alternators, then no, you probably would not like this figure. Also, if you're looking for something to be like the perfect representation of his movie counterpart, I mean this or one of the repaints of him is probably going to be the best that you're going to get, but obviously he has the size going against him. This version in particular has the colors, the kibbles, so he probably isn't going to do that for you. Ultimately though, it's your decision. I do hope this review helps you make the right one for you. If you want to check out more Transformers figure reviews, then you can check out my channel. I now upload figure reviews on a weekly basis, so stick around for more reviews of recent and not recent Transformer releases. You can also check out my channel for commentary on the Transformers cartoons, predictions for the films, thoughts on upcoming figures, etc. Hope you guys like the stuff I have, and that would help support the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter for more regular updates. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one guys. I'll see you soon.